nothing for the body to progress, for the part of progressing, right? So that means you have to accept whatever the given condition or the given factors that you contend with it, and then with that, the resources, the given resources, you're going to progress toward the path of enlightenment. So that's why that's what is meant by contentment. So as a Buddhist monk and nun, there are four necessary things or necessity that they need to receive from the householder, so they sustain their life, so then they can progress on their path of practice. So that's what is the contentment. And then in the, what do you think as a householder, then how do you progress for your life if you have a contentment? What is considered contentment as a householder?
Maybe it's also enough means to take care of the family, to work for the progressive of the home, to be
What else? When we're talking about contentment, we're going to talk about what is the main goal of individual, right? A monk and a nun's role is for the shape of progressive on the path to get enlightenment. What happened to the lay devotee? What happened to the householder? What is the goal here? So that, okay. What is your purpose of life?
to be spiritual,
What else?
To be happy.
To be happy. To be happy, okay? So the goal here is to be happy. And how do you define happy?
when there's no disease, maybe sickness, suffering,
Free of sickness? What else?
Plenty
enough
of
disposal, if you have
Huh?
money.
What you have to have finance, comfort, finance, right? What else?
Luxurious life.
Food,
Job.
job, okay? What else?
Family.
Family, okay? The social connection. That's this family, friend, whatever, okay? Then? And someone say food. What else?
Food and clothes.
spirituality.
Spirituality. Enough? Okay. So this is, if you define this is your happiness. What else that you have?
Thinking,
Huh?
thinking,
Thinking?
yes,
Knowledge.
now
Okay. Yeah, what else? So when you think about your position, that you are a householder, you need to have a needs, right? And this need associated with the goal, right? As I already said, this is out here is the need for the monk and nun. And that is the physical need for monk and nun to sustain the path. And the path they already know because they have Patiloka, they have Hamma, so then they progress. But then they need to contend on whatever they can get. Now, let's see if this is for you, and this is your need in your life. Then how, if you, this one you can make money, right? You can work for it. And this This is the main one, right? Because with this one, we'll provide all of this. Am I right? If you have enough money, of course you will have time. I don't want need to work a lot. I just need to have time to cultivate meditation. I don't need to work extra work or work overtime to make more money. If my financial status is very comfortable enough, so I don't need to work extra job or extra hours to meet my financial need. So then the rest of them will fall into the order. So in that case, then if you have a finance, if you have the money, then how do you know that you are content? How do you distribute this finance to make yourself that to be content? How do you know that your financial is enough? How do you know that this much of money is enough for me?
Money is never enough.
Then that's not a content. That's not a content. And if you content, then that's what I say. What is the measurement that you know that is enough for you to be content, and then you can progress through what your spiritual life? Householders also have their own spirituality as well. Do not say that householder cannot attend Arahant. According to the Nikaya, this number of householder can progress toward Arahant as well. Or the highest one they should stay in the household is the Anagami. But the Arahant, you need to become a monk within 24 to 7 days. Otherwise, you're going to die. And you're going to enter Mahaparinibbana or Nibbana. So, what is the measurement for you to indicate that you have enough?
Is it sufficient to fulfill your basic needs?
Yeah, what are the basic things that you think that you fulfill?
A rent for the house, you don't have your own house. Then for the grocery and bill.
Food, shelter, and clothing.
According to the Buddha, there's 4 ways of spending money. 4 ways.
Food.
Anybody remember? Vietnamese student? 4 ways to spending the money. Whoever already passed the intermediate Buddhist, anybody here joined the intermediate class? I don't want to have a talk. Who has joined the intermediate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is 11. So this is the number of the Dhatunga that you should follow. So you should know. Don't know? 4 ways of spending money? You don't know?
We spend every day. My family. So,
This 4 way of spending the money, I think you remember, right? And on certain action you don't remember. This 4 way is the first one. You have to bring in the money to make sure that your family is comfortable enough with food, shelter, and all the miscellaneous expenses. And then the second one is the self. You have to reserve for yourself to spend. Also, you need to reserve some amount for the urgency or emergency. Urgency or emergency does mean Now, urgency or emergency is very dependent from all of this one, this one, is very dependent on the locality. I will give you an example. Sickness is depend on locality. For example, I come from Canada, and when I got sick, I don't need to pay anything. I enter the hospital, government pay everything. Because even though I teach here, I have to pay tax to the Canadian government every year, income tax. And I say that that is part of my obligation as a Canadian citizen. I don't feel that, oh, I don't live there, I don't need the Canadian government, why I have to pay tax. But as a citizen, it's my duty to pay tax. Because this is tax-free job for me here. But I need to claim income tax in Canada and I pay. And why? Because I know this money will go to the medical field. The government utilize this tax money into the medical field for the elderly, for the sick people, for the poor. So when I get old, I have the equal right. When I enter the hospital, I don't need to pay anything, even the medicine. Okay, so that's the thing. Then I don't need to prepare. When I got sick, I don't need to prepare for the sickness. Right? I don't need to pay for my treatment. Whereas in India, whereas in Vietnam, may be different. Right? You need to pay such an amount. Even though you have the insurance from the government, you need to pay a certain amount. So then you have to reserve enough for a certain money for your children, family, and yourself for the emergency use. And then all of this one is including all of this need except this spirituality. And so the fourth one is for the Dhamma, as is the triple James. So you donate to the spirituality people, to the sadhu, to the monk, to why you need to generate this generosity. It's just like you put the money into your bank account, you manage into the bank account, and it's generated from life after life. And that's part of your spirituality as well. Because when you give, don't think that you give someone receiving it and then you have punya marriage. But think about giving is actually the act, the mental act, jaga, generosity. In Pali, jaga. Jaga is the mental state, right? That's mean generosity. And then when you act out and I say, okay, Ajahn come from you, then you donate the food into his bowl, that is dharma. Okay? So this is giving. So the giving is the act of the generosity, right? From your state of mind. So when you give, one action, including your state of mind and also your action as well, your volition, your intention, that you generate this kind of generosity, and then helping the one that's in need. That is one thing. That is one way. But internally, you let it go. You cultivate non-attachment. Jaga is not just giving to someone else, but generate ourselves that non-attachment. Economically or giving. You giving, that means you let go some of your property out and you less attachment to what the material that we give. We possess.
The nature that we keep or like
Both. For example, if you give to people, like me, okay, whatever I earn here, every month I donate to one of the Tibetan temple in the south, 10,000 for electricity bill, because 200 or 300 monks live in one building, and then even a samanara, a novice monk, has to pay 50 rupees for 1 month. And then every month they don't have that much of allowance, so they have to ask the master for money to deposit into the electricity. And then it's just touched my heart that a little boy, 50 rupees is a lot to them. They can buy 5 bags of chips, right? That is their pocket money. So then I say, okay, I share my salary to them. And that will help out like 200 or 300 Tibetan monks, why not? Right? So then I will cut some of my, my private need for that 10,000. And that is the contentment that sometimes that you cut back, it doesn't really affect your basic need, then it's fine. That's contentment. And then also let it go. If you don't give it out, you cannot generate this kind of the mental factors of jhana, as generosity. You generate by yourself by letting go, like that. And then that's the whole thing. Think about until that you die, you have to let go of this body, right? If you don't let go of this body, how can you die? Right? So much attachment. And the first thing you let go is let go of wife, let's go of son, let's go of your property. No, I died, I want to bury in this castle. So every little step, every little arm is for your purpose of cultivate our mental factor day by day. And that's what the Buddha said, do not devalue the small wholesome act. The small wholesome act accumulated to become a big one, right? So that's why, so don't devalue one drop of water. One drop of water adds up to a bottle of water, right? So that's why in this one is depend on how you measure your family householder to be comfortable, and that's what you say content, right? And so long as you say, if it doesn't really affect the immediate need, then you can share some of it. And donation it's not the obligation, you must do it, no. It's up to your own will. It's up to your own will. But this one is your obligation, right? So obligation comes first. Your own will come later. Because you live in a household, you have to have all of this area that you need to take care of, right? So that's why contentment is very from family to family, individual. So don't compare I donate 1,000 rupee and then how come you make more money and then you donate only 500 rupee. Do not judge based on the value. You have to look at the person, a whole family, the whole picture of that person, where he's coming from, and then you would understand why he's doing what he's doing. Okay? So, that is the contentment. Now, go ahead.
Any clarification that I get from you, like when you give dana, when you give dana, you have to be free from attachment of three things. The one is giving, other is receiving, and then I said, is it true or like?
Yeah. If you, because you're not in the body group, but if you in the body later on, we learn all of this concept in detail. Especially when you give, you need, according to the Dhatunga Dana Sutta, that is the 6 factors of giving. And this 6 factor is included that the Buddha see one of the lady, a very noble lady, she preparing food to the Buddha. So then, from this incident, the Buddha observed, and then the Buddha say that there are 6 factors in the act of dana. So this sutta indicate that for the gift, so this is in the Anguttara Nikaya. And then the Buddha say for the giver and receiver. Okay? So there are 3 on this side and 3 on the mind has to be pure. Number two, faith before giving, and joy after giving. Okay, during giving. This is before giving. And then for the receiver, we should have to be pure. Two. On the path, and number three, progress or attempt. That's being free. Something like that. Free from loha, moha, and dosa. Loha, dosa, moha. Loha, dosa, grief, hatred, and delusion. So, in this sutta, the Buddha say that there are 6 factors that to indicate that the giving is accomplished. Okay. For the dan, for the person who giving, the donor before he give, he should have the faith in the sangha. And because of that faith, he need to observe the Panchasila. That means they need to observe the precepts, so then it's purifying their mind, right? The 5 precepts is what? No killing, abstinent from killing, abstinent from what? Stealing, abstinent from
Sexual misconduct.
speech, false speech. Number 4, abstinent from sexual misconduct. Number 5 is intoxicant use, right? So once you already observe this Panchasila, that means 5 precepts, then your mind become pure. And once your mind is pure, then you got to go wash your hand, right? And then you offer the food to the people. What does this indicate? It indicates that we have to be very precise. Treat the dana to the monk in a very precise way. That means you purify from inside to cleanliness from outside to outside. Okay, so that's indicate respect, indicate you treasure this kind of act. And then during you give, you should have the faith in the Sangha, that this is the Sangha, that the Buddha, that we serve the sasana, we serve the religion that can give you the sustain the teaching. So you have to have the faith in that. After you have the faith, then you're going to feel joy after you give. Because a lot of people, I donate 100 rupee to them and say that, oh, I should save 10 rupee for my chairs. Then you don't have joy. Your state of mind has some regret from it. So that's why the Buddha said, all of these things you have to cultivate your state of mind from the beginning to the middle to the last. Then only then your wholesomeness will be accomplished. For the receiver, of course, they also need to have the tranquility and also the clarity of their mind as well. That is patimukha, right? Patimukha, that is the visa to help them to be serenity, feel wholesome as well. And then also they need to focus on their heart. They need to understand this is the food for progressing the path, and they need to cultivate that. This is the food for sustaining their life, and they're free from attachment. So that's means they're on the path of progressing. And then if at the end, when they eat already, they have to vow that they're going to cultivate to making sure that eliminate their three poison, that is lopa, dosa, moha, assisting greed, hatred, and delusion. So they have to, the first one, they making sure they got their mind that not free from these three hatreds. The second one, they have to progress it. And then the third one, they have to vow to progress further until that is completely eradicated. So then, Buddha say, if the receiver and the donor have these six factors, then a person will accomplish the full accomplishment. But that's not just the only the behavior that indicates to you that, oh, this is the donor, this is the receiver. Think of it. What does this one indicate? If a person have some faith and joy, what did I say about faith? Where's the faith coming from? Where's the faith coming from? What the difference? I already said that from the beginning of this class. What is the difference between the faith of Buddhism faith and other faith? Where's the faith coming from? Huh? From? Yes, sister. The faith coming from knowledge. You don't have the blind faith. The faith has to be, be strengthened by the knowledge. Remember, I already said the Kalama Sutta, the Buddha told to the Kalama people, do not have a blind faith. People say that I'm saying I'm a God. Will you believe in that? You have to use your conscience and to making sure that is this teaching logic to me? Is this applicable for me? Right? So that's how you generate the faith. And the faith comes from the knowledge. So what is the knowledge generated today? What? Huh? What is the knowledge equivalent to what? 100? What's the difference between Panchati and Panya? What's the difference between Panya and Panchati? Once you have the knowledge, it's equivalent that you will have the wisdom. So whatever you do, you donate to that person. You don't want to donate to the kid in Bodh Gaya and say, I need for 10 rupee, I need for 10 rupee. They don't know. Will you give to those kids? You can't. Because if you give to those kids, they say, oh, 10 people give me 10 rupee. One day I can make 100 rupee. To the pilgrims, 15 people give them 10 rupee each. 150 rupee for one day, equivalent to the people who work as a labor job in one day in India. You see? Then you make a new occupation to the kid. Beggar is from the occupation to the kid. You understand my point? You have to use the wisdom for giving. So all of this one indicate that the faith, the joy, or whatever, the factor latent behind all of this action is the knowledge, is the wisdom. The faith doesn't come from the blind faith, the faith coming from the knowledge.
So in a way like this will not accrue any marriage.
Huh?
what if like we give it money or paper or anyone who is actually asking for it, give it. Of course, we give it to education, but we don't generate the marriage.
You will generate the merit, but then the merit is not very effective. You're going to do damage to the society more than the marriage. The damage of the society that you did more than your marriage that you generate. If you put on the wage, and you look at the society.
Wisdom and knowledge is not used.
Huh?
Which means wisdom and knowledge is not used.
You have the knowledge first, then you have the wisdom later, right? Where's the knowledge coming from? What three kind of knowledge you have? Huh? Learning. Second, contemplation. The third one, practice. Suttamaya panya, right? And then Chintamaya panya, and then Bhavanamaya panya. Three kind of knowledge you're going to have. Of course, the knowledge at first you learn, whatever you learn it here, it will not give the wisdom right away. But then the wisdom is just a limit at the learning level only. Then you have to come home and you have to make sense. Is this really making sense that I'm giving to this kid on the street in Bodh Gaya? And then, does this make sense? Maybe that he or she just, if 10 or 15 people giving him 150 rupees a day, then he say, easy making money, why I have to go to school? If I go to school, I might make only 500 rupees per day. What happens if I beg and during the pilgrimage group, the Taiwanese people come, the people from Europe come, the people from American, the people from Vietnamese come, Bhutan and Malaysia, Japan, Korean. Each group will take about 50 people. Each person give him 50 rupees. How many rupees does he make on one day? 1 or 2,000 rupees easily, right? Then why have to go to school? Why have to waste my time to go to school and then I can make easy money? Do you think that our compassion with the wisdom? It's not. You destroy the harm society. And this has happened to a lot to Vietnamese people who come here. And there's one year, 2016, Bihar government blamed on the tourists in Bihar. They say that the tourists destroy my society because you feed these people with your generosity, and then that's why you destroy the future of the kid. They don't want to go to school. So don't let your generosity exploit, by yourself. No one exploit your generosity. You exploit your generosity by yourself without the wisdom. So that's why a lot of people say, oh, this is very Hinayana. This is just a behavior. Think each word, when you learn in Buddhism, especially in Nikaya, equivalent to Mahayana. What is the factor? What is the factor behind those words? And if you learn each word very well, you will see that all of those behavior also hidden, the factor behind whatever you learn the words in it. And that's what I already taught you from the beginning. What is faith? And gradually help you to understand the abstract factor, that is contentment. Right? So when you have the faith, this indicates you must have the knowledge before you give. Your joy. Joy is what indicate, the joy is the manifestation of your what? Wisdom in what? In letting go, equanimity. If you don't let it go, you will not have joy. You have regret. You feel that I should save, I shouldn't give it to that person. So that's, you don't have joy. But before you have joy, you have to making sure that, is this the right way to give? Is this the right person to give? Yes?
Yeah, this is a very fundamental aspect of Buddhist practice. I can understand the first three, but the Dharma,
It's from here.
yeah, those three are self-explanatory, but while I'm giving something to someone, it's a considered decision, and it has to be for the right reason. That's fine from my point of view. But how do I decide to who I give it to? How do I know the person is, do I just accept them, or do I question them? How do I decide the other person? Because it's a two-way relationship.
How do you know that Nalanda is the choice for you to come to study?
I don't.
You don't.
I just came.
You just came. How do you
If
know?
I- if-
How do you know Nalanda is here, located here?
Would you really like to know?
Yes.
I was in a West London Buddhist temple,
Okay.
and I came across, I was with my brother, we came across a Tibetan deity who
Okay.
came with the Lamdre.
Okay.
My surname is Dre,
Okay.
it's Lamdre.
Okay.
So that, I was physical. Now that took me to the ancient university. There was an abbot called Virtupa.
Okay. Then.
One of the first abbots.
Okay.
You see, this is not rational.
Okay.
So and then it came up, actually I'd written a book about it before.
About Nalanda.
No,
The Buddha Nalanda.
about, it was Lamdre without knowing it was Lamdre.
Okay.
So I was already in that zone. And then the old university, the new university website, and they said, we're applying for people to do Buddhist studies for that in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I applied, had the interview, submitted the email, and here I am.
Okay.
Nothing rational.
No, it's very rational.
I'm glad you see it.
Very rational.
Like,
You find out the first abbot in Buddha Nalanda.
Yes.
You read about him, interesting about him, and then you also know about Buddha Nalanda. Right?
yes.
Before you make a decision, you already
Yeah.
marketing, you go shopping, all about Nalanda already. Whether direct or indirect, you have somehow the concept about Nalanda. And there's so many others university teaching Buddhism too. The university, go to Buddha University, Magadha. But why is Nalanda? Because you associate with the Buddha Nalanda. And Buddha Nalanda is so famous for Buddhism. All of this concept, okay, Nalanda.
Yeah,
Just like that.
Just seems a good place to come to
Okay,
study.
let me refer back to the art.
Yes.
According to the Vinaya, the Buddha teach to the Buddhist monk and nun, you're not supposed to do anything in that locality for the first 3 months. Whatever you do, you have to ask the people who live in that local before you do things. I did not do the charity in 2 years later that I finished my study MA in Delhi University. I did not do any charity. Because I don't know the culture. I don't know what is the state of mind of Indian people. How do they, when I see the slum area, I used to live in Delhi University, near Delhi University, and I rent a room. And then behind my back is the slum. And in front of my door is the villager, okay, like the small community. Then there's across my room, one boy, he was in grade 11. And then he knew that I came from Canada, and he just said, Brenda, I just want to improve my English so then I can get into the nursing program. I said, okay, you come here every night at 8 o'clock, I will teach you English. So he came. So during English, what do I teach? I taught him the spoken English. So I basically was just talking and then I correct his English. Then I told him, I said, he said, that, how come you keep blocking your balcony? You don't go out and sit in the balcony. I said, what is good about the balcony? It's not because of the dirty. But then I said, I feel heartbroken when I see the people in the slum area. They live in a poor condition and they are so dirty and they look so poor. Then he said, okay, come to the front. And he pointed at, no, he said, did you see that lady in that slum? I said, yes. Then he said, okay, come to the front to me. Come to the front. He said, do you see very far over there, very high rise with blue color building? And I said, yes. She said, she owned that. She owned that building. But but then she's still using the slum area to get 1 rupee salt, 1 kg of salt from the government subsidized for her, 5 rupee for rice from the government subsidized for the poor people. You see, you have to understand, this doesn't mean the whole Indian people are bad. It's not. I'm saying that you have to understand the Indian society from every corner, allow you to have 2 years, 3 years to learn from what condition they live in order to donate. One time, I'm telling you, one of the Vietnamese monks, he came here. He's not a monk, he's just a novice. And he came here and he saw me ride a scooty, okay? Then he saw Dr. Puja walk in the sun, so hot. He saw Geshe Lung Tuk in the sun, so hot. And then he offered them to buy each of them a bicycle, 5,000 rupees. And then they refused, they don't want to take it. They say no. There, Geshe Lung Tuk say, I've been walking, in the South India, monastery from monastery to another monastery, like 2 kilometers they walk. And Dr. Puja say no. Then I say, Monk, do you know that our salary can buy 20, 30 bicycles in 1 month? Do you know that? And our duty here is to teach you. It's not our duty to receive your money. So do not judge the behavior from outside. You need to understand. You will not understand everything in 2 years, but you're able to understand enough that you will find out what is the best way to donate. Like now, every year, some of these Vietnamese students, they gather together, they chip in the money, and they say, let's do making the well. And that's what we did already, the previous student. They went into the village, and they know the people in the village, they have translator, and the villagers say that we need the well. So they chip in the money, and they're making the well, 15,000 or 20,000 to make it well. So all of these Vietnamese students chip in the money, and then they're making 1 well for 1 village. I think that is very good, very effective. And then there's one school, the kids sit on the ground and there's no table. Then they plan this year, they're going to chip in the money and purchase the chair, the plastic chair and the plastic table for that small school. So I think that is a good way. Rather than, you donate the money to the kid, promote them, help individual Indian to develop, rather than you destroy their society, feed them into become lazy. And then if a country is lazy like that, you're going to destroy the country.
In India, not only people, even monkeys are lazy.
Even monks are lazy?
Monkeys.
Monkey. Monkey are lazy. They go around and
Even in South India, sometimes even take our phones and then break it.
But this sorry.
But the Indian army, like sometimes we feed the animal also because there is no place to go and then on their own.
no, I must say that Indian society is very peaceful. Animal and human live together. There's no killing. And I think if the animal, don't say that the animal invading our place. We, high population, invade the animal territories, right? We're building the high rise, we're making this, making road and this, that, and they lack of resources and they lack of place to live. So they have to move further. If they cannot move further, then they have to invade into the human area.
Sorry, I think for me, this is such an important ethics as item for this month for practitioner, the way money is dealt with, and the relationship between the giver and the receiver. Why can't you just give it to the big heart and forget about the consequences? It's not possible. You're putting the monk or the practitioner in a very difficult position.
You have to understand this. In the Buddhism, we have a progressive training. Progressive training. Progressive training does mean that as a monk, as a novice monk, we have a certain rule and encourage them to cultivate. Okay? Now, if a senior monk, you don't need to lay this one out or of this one because if I don't need the money, why you donate it to me? As a senior monk, senior nun, I have enough money. You don't need to donate me. You reserve the money and say, give to someone else. But if I'm just a novice nun, right, and my greed is still very strong. Whatever you give, I say, I receive it, you receive it. I feel proud of myself too. Oh, more people donate me, that's what I have. I cultivate very well, so that's what I receive. So you have to understand the concept of the sutta, who the Buddha preached to. Because this lady, she prepared the food for the Sangha led by the Sariputta. And then this is a very senior monk already. And then here the Buddha preached to the junior monk that how do you prepare, the people should prepare, and how we should cultivate ourselves, right? And then that's also teaching. In this way, you think that it's very, very superficial behavior. No, this is indicating what? Humility, humble. The humbleness of a monk. If I haven't cultivated to get rid of Rupa Dosa Moha, I need to remind myself to progress, right? So that is, you look at the behavior, don't just judge the behavior. What is the behind? What is the mental factor behind the behavior? You need to humility. You need to reflect back to yourself how progress you have done on your path. And if you haven't progressed very fast, try your best to progress further. So that's what is really mean. Now, a lot of people mix this concept with the Bodhisattva idea. Bodhisattva idea is different. Bodhisattva idea, you don't need to understand what that person coming from. You donate, you just donate. That's different. Bodhisattva idea does mean the idea been cultivated so many years and so many life already. So when he cultivate this Bodhisattva, if dana, generosity, is the goal or the aim that he need to practice in this life, he already accumulates so many years of, he already passing this already. He's passing this stage already. Because he already accumulated a lot of karma in his past life, right? So he will donate. And also, whoever encounter with him also have the karma with him already. So he will donate. Okay, and then he just try to eradicate his attachment as much as he can. So it's very different, depend on what perspective, in what context that you indicate. And then we're talking about ethic. How the contentment and giving is associated with the ethic. When you understand that, but it is important. It must be sati idam hoti. It must be asati idam na hoti. This one arising because the other one arising, right? And also it's indicate we live in this society, we have the interconnection, right? So that's why we need to content. When we content, it will affect other people content. Other people are state of mind as well. For example, if this is the meditation hall and you're not content at where you sit, you're just jiggling, moving, you're going to disturb the whole group. So contentment of one person can affect the whole group of people in the treatment. So the contentment is the one that really always associate back to the Buddhist theory that it is required interdependence. So interconnection, interdependent to each other. So then we have to see that human life is interconnected And then giving is just not giving, giving that means sharing. So that's why sharing is part of the connection, promoting the harmony connection between human to human. And it is great about it.